We are back with the first half in the Blister Room. We've had to make it a little bit bigger name because we copyrighted somebody else. But first half in the Blister Room, episode 2. And we had such good fun on the first one, we thought let's do it with even more people this time. Now I can't do it myself because I'm just a repainter and a collector. So I thought to myself, Gary couldn't turn up, so I'm going to get some experts in the Corinthian field to come and help me tonight. So scour on the internet, I couldn't find any. So I've got these two. I have got Dan and Sam helping me today. Both of them have been friends for a good about 3 or 4 years now, would you say, guys?
In that region, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, we met through the Corinthian Collector Club. And do you know what? I'll let them tell me a little bit about themselves. Hello, Sam. How are you? Introduce yourself.
Hello, Flackers. Hello, everybody. Yeah, well, you've done the intro for me, really, haven't you? But yeah, I'm Sam. Not a lot else to me, really. What do you want to know?
Well, what got you into Corinthians, and what do you like about the Corinthians, and when did you start? Just to give people a little bit to know about you.
So, original started from the very beginning. England Euro 96 sachet in my local shop, and then was pretty much hooked from then. Because I'm old enough to remember them coming out. Like a lot of people, I think you're the same as me, kind of fell away from it, not through selling them off or anything, but they just went up in the loft, and then moved house, got my own place. Lockdown happened and decided to clear out the loft and thought these are too good to get rid of, and before I knew it I was back with the collecting bug and haven't stopped since.
Mate, it's just a similar story that you hear again and again with all these collectors. And helping Sam tonight and myself will be Dan Taborda. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. How is everyone tonight?
Yeah, mate, we're good, mate. We're buzzing to be back, even though I only recently saw you, luckily. Was it June, I think I saw you?
Yeah.
In person. Yeah. So tell us a tiny smidgen about your collecting journey. When did you start, and did you drop off and get back into it?
Yeah, much like Sam, really. Mine started with the Soccer Stars magazine that gave away the Free England figure, Paul Ince, and it went from there. The sachets, every time we left school, I always badgered my mum and dad to get a sachet. My brother and I used to argue over who would get David Seaman because he was the best figure we thought at the time as well, so that was great. Definitely dropped off around about 15, 16 years ago, sold my collection, which included a David Beckham chaser on eBay for £3.25 at the time, which, it still hurts to this day enormously. Oh, it hurts to this day.
That wound.
But lockdown, probably a bit before that, a few things going on, and I found Corinthians again and just started collecting them, and then saw ones that I'd never realised existed before. So it was nice to get back in it, and I've never looked back. 5 years on, and I'm still collecting, and I don't think I'll ever stop now.
It's mad, isn't it, how it went from us not collecting to finding them. I mean, I don't know if you guys are the same. I literally found them to sell them. I just thought I was going to get rid of them. And you look where we are now, like a convention down the line, several meetups of ourselves. We've met twice each, I think, now, and we're planning more. This
is it. The only downside, of course, with the popularity is the price goes that way. I remember about 15, 16 years ago, I got a Beckham chaser on eBay for £3.25.
What?
Really? No. Some idiot sold him for that. I can't believe it. Unbelievable.
Mate, do you know what? We'll do an episode on biggest mistakes. I mean, I won't say too much then, because otherwise I'll ruin my story. But yeah, when I started selling them, I had no idea the prices, and things were going stupidly cheap. But those, everybody, these are the two people that helped me tonight, and we're going to try and pick a random topic, which, like we said last week, we're going to try and talk about things that aren't always talked about. Because, as I said, you've got Big Ed Hacks, you've got Craig Robinson, you've got the Corinthian archives out there, you've got websites galore that have got so much information. There's not a lot else we can tell you. I mean, to be honest, I probably have got a smidgen of Craig Robinson's knowledge. So there's no point in going over it all again. So we're going to try and talk about stuff that isn't normally talked about. And last week, let's gloss over, I think we talked about displays. Did you guys watch the display episode?
I did, yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were, as you can see behind me, and as you can see, I think Dan's got a couple I'm looking at now above. you've got people that display them in different ways. I mean, a lot of us annoyingly have them stashed away in boxes, never to be seen, and it is just nice for people to know different ways to display them. I mean, I've got acrylic tiered stands just sat around doing nothing, so I'll probably have them for sale at some point if anybody wants them to display some stuff. But yeah, it was a really good way to start talking about how to display stuff. But tonight we thought we're going to go a slightly different route. I had a little chat about it, but we didn't want to talk about too much. So I thought, we've got both of you on. Can't have both of you picking a topic because it's basically, we call it the first half because we want it to go 45 minutes minimum. But I reckon if you two had a topic each, we could be here all night, can we?
Easily.
Yeah.
Oh,
so tonight I am going to go with Sam, and
Cool.
let's see if you can pick a topic, something a little bit more random that we don't normally discuss. What do you fancy talking about tonight?
Well, obviously the first episode you talked in detail about displays, but something that you kind of covered but made me want to go in a bit more detail, and I've noticed in the group there's been a little bit more. You've got Blaine's swap shop that he's doing. There's been a few more posts about it, so I thought we'd talk a little bit more about collector cards.
Oh yeah, because Blaine commented last week on the first episode, said he's looking forward to watching. I think like Andrew Scope and a few others did. But I noticed Blaine's post the other day saying about the swap shop, and I thought that was a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have them just piling up, hanging around, don't know what to do with them. So to move them around, and then I think does he want people to add some in that if they take some out?
Yeah, I think it's. I need to reach out to him because I'm tempted to join, but my understanding was the envelope full of cards will turn up, and you pick out the 5 that you need, and you chuck in 5 of your duplicates to effectively replenish it. So
yeah, to move
a really
it on.
good idea.
Cracking idea, because
Yeah.
I bet loads of mine just get stood on, get bent, and then just get chucked in the bin. And I think, as we'll discuss tonight, some might have value, some might not have value.
Yeah. I think the main thing about it's quite niche, isn't it? It
is niche. And do both of you collect cards? Dan, do you collect cards too?
I've got absolutely loads in a folder in a pencil case type thing that I've got to put in the folder. So collect, I suppose I do. I've got to get into actually sticking them in, I think.
So it's more the storage side you've got to sort out then, how you're going to store them to display them and stuff. Well,
so I put
Sam, you
you
collect them, don't you? So you must have.
Yeah,
how do you display yours?
Yeah, so I've got these folders. I think a few of the collectors I've helped in the past. I mean, this is just an eBay purchase, and you get all the pages. But I've actually got about 5 of these on the go at the minute.
Have you?
Yeah, they're not.
Are they in order?
To the brim. They're not full to the brim, but like I've got headliners one for like all the English clubs and the Scottish clubs, and then there's a headliners one for the foreign clubs. And to be fair, rather optimistically, I've left enough space for the mega rare figures that may or may not one day end up in my collection. I've got one for the other sports because there were some cards, for example, New Zealand and South Africa rugby.
Right.
But they annoyingly didn't make cards for the England cricket, England rugby, the NBA, which I'd have loved to see them because I think they're pretty cool.
Is that the only ones that they didn't do cards for, or is there like more ranges that they just didn't even think about doing cards for?
Well, the US sports, I don't believe there's any cards with the NFL, the NHL, anything like that. But you've kind of got a card with the F1. The Schumacher's got a card, but it's not in the same kind of design. It's more like a fact file picture of actual Schumacher. Yeah. But then, even look at some of the footballers. You've got, only thinking of it because Dan's doing a thing at the minute. Or, to be fair, by the time this comes out, he might have already finished it. But you got that England 98 Paul Scholes. Yeah. And that's a release without a card, even though it's just a headliner England footballer.
Yeah.
But what I did when it came to organising it, I've gone to the extreme's the wrong word, but a lot of the pages are just those, I'll show you, like the sleeve where you've got the room for the cards to go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also wanted somewhere to file. So, for example, I put like the backing card in the bigger sleeves.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's why I've got so many folders, because they take up quite a bit of room.
I bet they do. Are they the same quality of thickness, what you've put the big blister one in?
Yeah, basically the same seller on eBay. You can just buy those sleeves in multiple different sizes, because I suppose they're the same people that provide the sleeves for stamp collectors and all sorts. Because obviously it's a generational thing, isn't it? But Corinthian cards are just basically cigarette cards, aren't they?
Yeah. So if you collected them then, have you both, I mean, Dan, I'll throw it to you, have you collected them from day one, or is it new things since you got back into it?
Definitely since I got back into it, I always used to chuck the scandalously we would chuck the collector file and the card in the bin without even thinking, because it was only the figure that I was interested in, so I was ripping it out of the blisters.
Yeah.
But now whenever I get a figure, and I don't really keep the packaging, as you know, some of the things I've kept, but some I much prefer to have them loose if I can. I like to have the cards now and keep the cards as best as I can, although I'm sure I've got duplicates because I keep getting different cards. But I haven't gone out actively and bought cards yet. It's more that I get the figure and get the cards, or they come in a bundle. So
yeah. So I mean, did you collect them from day one, Sam, or again, have you just got back into it?
So I can almost really thank me dad for it, because a bit like what Dan said, for me it was about ripping the figure open and sticking it in on the Subbuteo pitch or however I used to play matches with them. But my dad would keep a folder, and he was the one that pretty much organised them as he brought me the figures after school and whatnot, and he'd file it in team order. Because again, there's loads of different ways of filing in it. You could do it by figure number order. Yeah. I do it by team and by series, so it's just like, you know, Arsenal and Aston Villa, etc., etc., and then into the Pro Stars, it's just like Series 1 and Series 2. But there's loads of different ways that you can obviously do it. So yeah, quite thankful really, because when I kind of got back into it around COVID times, I probably only had about 20 figures that I didn't have a card for, because there was just this perfectly restored folder that he'd kept as I brought them. So yeah, I was quite lucky. I didn't have to kind of start from scratch.
Fantastic that your dad was doing that for you then, because like you say, I think back when we were young, I was about to say rightly so, but not rightly so. I understand why none of us were bothered about the card. We just wanted the little 2.5-inch bit of plastic to stick on display somewhere. So the card was an afterthought. But like when you think about the rarity, like I just look around at some of my Man U figures now, and I think again, Craig Robinson published how many were produced of each figure later on, because that information was given to him by Corinthian. So if 5,000 figures were produced, then that's 5,000 cards. Imagine how many are tossed away. In theory, then, does that not make the card extremely rare? Probably rarer than some of the figures.
Yeah, I think. 100% does. Value's a difficult thing, because you are literally buying a piece of paper.
It's still only a bit of paper, but it should push the value of the card.
Yeah. I mean, I've probably passed up on figures now because it doesn't have the card.
Yeah.
When I should have just brought it and hoped to get the card down the line. But the other thing to consider as well, and I do wonder, be interesting to see what comments you get on the video and whatnot. I've just dug a card out, but you've got on the back of it the old school rating system.
Yes,
obviously, if as a kid you were filling that out and giving a player a rating, you were only doing what the card was designed to do.
Yeah.
But in fairness, if even if it was a rare card, I don't know, I'm trying to think of, a rare headliner like a Graham Stewart, for example, you only ever see the figure loose, don't you? You never see the card available. But could you imagine if someone's filled it out with all the, scrawny handwriting on the back,
And if they filled it out wrong and give him like 10 shooting and 0 defending or something.
Exactly. It's just a game of opinions, isn't it? But then, to be fair, you look at anything like that, you look at stats on, top trumps cards, or even, the bases on the bottom of a MicroStar, for example, and you think,
Yeah, exactly. It's all difference of opinion. But like the stats ones, I enjoyed the stat ones. I mean, it would have been a nice thing to carry on. I suppose that would have lent or meant people, to be filling them out. So people would have put their stats on there and potentially ruined them from day one. So in a way, maybe that's why they. I only just thought about this now. Maybe that's why they changed away from it when it became more of a Pro Stars collector's item. They didn't want you writing on it, whereas at the beginning, the headliners, it's pretty more fun. They just thought, oh yeah, we'll leave them blank. People can draw on them, because they didn't think it would be maybe as popular or as much of a collector's item as what it ended up getting into.
Can I share with you a painful story?
Go on.
So, the Italian headliners, the national team?
Yeah.
There's about, 13, 14 different figures in the collection, and they're pretty rare, right? They're one that I wanted to get into. You can pick up the odd ones quite easily, but Baggio's difficult, Del Piero's difficult, there's a couple of others. So anyway, I brought some online, and I was quite pleased, because I, shouldn't admit this, but I was going to open them up, even though they were blisters. But these blisters were battered. I don't know I can't remember where I got them from, but these blisters were battered. And I remember got the kids to bed one night, and I had the whole series boxed, in battered blisters and thought, right, I'm going to open them up tonight, get the figures, let them breathe, and I'm going to file the cards away and do like I picked me the best looking backing card, and I left Del Piero till last. I've done however many there were up until then. I left Del Piero till last, opened it up, and as I pulled away the plastic to get the card out, this box at some point in its history must have got damp because the collector file was bonded to the collector card, and as I tried to peel it away, it ripped basically some of the graphic off. So I then had this absolutely horrible looking, worthless Del Piero. I've got a picture of it, so I'll show everyone. But yeah, it was painful. I was gutted,
mate. Because some of them, I don't know what the most expensive card would be. I imagine it would be like from your Stroppers and did Bogard ever have a card?
Don't think so.
No, I don't think he did. None of the Dutch ones did.
No, right. Another, yeah. To be fair, that's a bit like the Skulls. It's another series where they didn't have any in it.
You'll have a couple of them then say that did like the expensive figures that were in the blisters, but I wonder what one of them is worth because I do remember, but I cannot remember the figure. I got a feeling it was a Napoli player, but it might not have been a Napoli player. But anyway, I'm just waffling here. Somebody asked me to do a wanted poster, and they were willing to pay 45 quid for a card.
Yeah.
So it must have been one of the super rare figures.
Some of the rare Italians, the asking price is in that ballpark for the card.
Yeah, and like I say, I mean, I take it it's got to be in mint condition, but I suppose for some people, as long as it's not bent or creased, they don't mind.
Well, those folders look after them pretty well, so even if the corners are a little bit beaten up, as long as you put them in neatly, they're going to then stay flat. You're pretty safe. It's not going to get damaged.
But like, I think now that we're of an age where we've stumbled across our collections and we're getting back into it, you could almost say that some of the cards, because people are collecting cards now, and like we've just discussed, we've been chucking them away for years and they've gone, some of the cards are rarer than or more expensive than the figures. In case an example, if you wanted some of the Liverpool ones, like you could get a Steve McManaman for 50p if you're lucky, 40p if you were trying to sell him, right? But if you were collecting them cards and you had a blister, I bet you some people would be willing to pay £4 for the blister, knowing they're going to open it, to then try and sell the figure back on, just so they can get a pristine and clean card.
Well, that's what I ended up doing.
So you will literally have. Yeah, well, exactly. I've done it with Man U ones. I've literally bought an Irwin just so I could have a nice card and stuff like that. So yeah, you will get some of them that are now worth more than the actual figure because the figures just you can get so many of them out there.
Well,
do you think there's anything wrong with the card? Do you think there's anything they could have done better, in your opinion? And this is going across headliners all the way through to pro stars. Like, do you think, Dan, there's anything that is a bit poor with them, or even a series that was poorly done?
I'm sort of torn now, looking back on it, whether having the rating, whether I prefer the later ones that had the main side of the figure and then on the back just the figure and the name again, whether that was better than the ratings. Maybe as time went on they thought that was a better option. But then that being said, it was something very nostalgic when I look back on them and see the ratings on the back.
Yeah,
it does take me back. I suppose the collecting changed, didn't it?
Yeah.
From targeting those that were younger to targeting collectors, and I suppose the card changed to fit that. So I think I quite like all the iterations of it, if I'm honest with you, because they reflected the time of the collection, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, you had I think there was like the black ones. What were they, like World Club Legends? And they just had writing on, and they were just telling you statistics about how many goals they scored and things like that. And I suppose I preferred them with the pictures on, but bringing that out and it was literally saying this player is a World Club Legend and giving you his Roll of Honour. It's understandable why they did that.
Yeah, I think it's good there was different designs as they went through it. It's probably more of a hit of nostalgia, but I always liked the sort of name in the red bar at the bottom of the back of the card. Again, that's probably just nostalgia throwing it back. I suppose the one thing I don't like or was never a fan of is the later series when they got individual issue numbers. So for example,
I like that, but
like that there really bugs me that I've got different numbers for like those, what's that, Kalina and Gascoigne or whatever. Yeah, that's a me thing. But probably something that's more interesting than an annoyance or something I did like is, I'll get a few pictures put up to show, but there's so many examples of where the card doesn't match.
Tim, our regular expert that's going to be helping out with the editing. Tim will put some magical pictures up for whatever Sam's about to talk about.
It makes me wonder how late in the day some of the changes must have been, because there's so many examples where the figure in the picture, all the way back to the Euro 96 lot, all the way through to later Pro Stars, where that figure in the picture is not the shape that was released. So you think obviously it made it to a master model that was photographed to go through to be produced as the card, and then all of a sudden you got a figure that was different. So that's something that's always interested me.
I reckon the most different one has got to be Schmeichel, because I mean it was a completely unique, never released pose. At least some of the other ones might have been in a slightly different pose that was released, but the Schmeichel one was just never ever seen.
Released thanks to you. Released thanks to you, Flackers, when you did one for me. So it finally got its release 30 years on for the convention. To be fair.
I know I've got one to paint, but yeah. But have you got any examples on you, Sam? In your folders that you can get to quick. Don't worry if you can't, because we'll try and get Tim. If you know some, we'll shout them out, and then Tim can stick some pictures up of the ones he means of a figure next to the card, and they'll be totally different. Like off the top of my head, was Andy Cole one?
There's a few in the Euro 96. I think Teddy Sheringham's one.
Yes.
I know you've got the Paul Ince Inter Milan headliner. He's in that sort of... Well, he's in his England pose, but he got released in a different pose. But even some of the world greats. I mean, there's Zidane. He weren't released to that. He came out with his newer pose in that world greats figure.
Why do you reckon that happened then? Why do you reckon that happened at Corinthian? I mean, we know they made a lot of mistakes. Do you reckon it was just a rushed thing?
I'd be speculating. I don't know. Again, open that up to the floor. There'll be people out there that probably are more clued up. Dave will possibly know some of the reasons. Ollie Speed might know some of the reasons.
Yes.
But again, I assume it must have been quite late in the day, given that they'd already committed to sending these figures off for their photograph or however they did it to produce it on the card.
Yeah. Because I mean, the amount of mistakes we slowly... Another episode, like I say, can be mistakes made by Corinthians. We can talk about them and different examples. But there seems to be a lot when the more we've chatted, the more I've chatted to Craig Robinson and people like that, and they show you all these different things they were going to bring out, got pulled last minute, haircuts, all sorts. There's been names wrong. Like, what was Gerard? Was Gerard with 2 R's or something? I can't remember what it was now, but Gerard had his name.
Stephen with a PH.
They just, the spelling mistakes, and nobody just double checked before it left the factory. You just think how can a big, because they were massive then. They were doing really just making hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions, sort of thing. And you'd think that they would have had a good quality control check, but things were slipping through.
But I suppose I'm sure it'll be the case for collectors of anything else. There you go. There's what you were just talking about. Stephen with PH. It's mad, isn't it?
Stephen with PH. Look at that figure as well. What a figure.
Yeah, it's a good Barnet, isn't it?
They obviously thought...
It's a good Barnet.
Yeah, they obviously thought he ain't going to make it, so we'll just make a rough idea of what he looks like.
Yeah, it is mad, isn't it, when you think about it? But I wonder. I mean, I'm not a keen collector of anything else particularly, but you assume that there's probably similar examples with Star Wars, wrestling, whatever other stuff that people collect of errors or
you get mistakes.
Changes.
When my son got into Lightning McQueen, I was buying in Lightning McQueen cards, and I thought, do you know what? He has loved this for so many years. I'm going to buy a couple and keep them in their packets and give them to him when he's older. And I was looking, and there was one of the green character. I can't remember what he was called now, but he was in a Lightning McQueen set. It said Lightning McQueen figure was in there and everything. So I bought that one, knowing that's a mistake one, hoping that one day that could be worth something. But who knows if it will or not. But when you were saying about the cards, the two that always frustrated me, being a Man United collector, because I didn't know until I got back into chatting to you guys a couple of years ago that it wasn't a thing. Was the redemptions, the Man U grey kit, Giggs and Cantona. I was hunting them. I was hunting them cards for years, thinking someone's got to have them. And then they brought out, or didn't bring out, sorry, they on eBay a couple of the sachets. Because I thought, oh my god, I didn't know they actually came out in a sachet. And they had the card, but you couldn't see the card. So I got one, I looked at the card, and it was red, so I'm thinking, have I been done here? But then when I spoke to Dave, he explained, no, they just brought them out with the original red kit card and just shoved that into the sachet, which was very disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, could you imagine that? That's only 4 cards to make in it for the 2 Liverpool, 2 Man United.
I was going to say the Liverpool ones as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they? So those England ones you put up as well, Dan? Did they have cards? Because they had ints and that came in blisters, so they must
So
have.
Ince and Shearer came with blisters, and actually the Ince and Shearer one is quite interesting because there was a mistake on the cards and it had part number down the bottom or something.
Right.
So actually, it's a mistake card, but you'd only see that if you opened up the blister and took the card out. But again, that had and this is why I never understood that Ince had England pose, one England pose, Inter was a different pose, but then really strangely, because sounds right, for the Inter card it's got his England pose, but he had a different one. But then for the England red kit, it had him in his Inter pose, but not that. But he was released in the pose for England.
Yeah.
So I never understood why Corinthian had one pose for Inter and one pose. But it was the same with Ferdinand. They had the big tall one for England,
Yeah.
and they had the small one for Newcastle, but had him in the big tall Newcastle kit, I'm sure, on the card.
Yeah.
And I can never understood why Newcastle obviously wanted the smaller one, but England wanted the bigger one. It never computed with me. Hopefully someone can answer that question because it doesn't make any sense.
Anybody, by the way? Oh, that's one thing. Last week we didn't get any responses back for our mail. No, what did I call it again? The man bag. Something. Oh, do you know what? I can't even remember what we called it. We were going to do something about the something man bag. 12th man bag. Well done. This is why you're on here. The 12th man bag. So if you've got any questions, you've got anything you want to put to us, or you've got anything like we say, the questions we're asking, help the community out. Let us know, and we'll talk about these things. But yeah, is there anything else card related then? Information we think we can fire out, or do you think we pretty much covered all of it?
I don't know how long we've been going, but we've covered a fair topic. But yeah, I think it'd just be good to hear from people any errors that they've spotted that maybe we don't know about, because those error cards are cool, whether it be the pose or spelling or any errors that are out there. Obviously, values be good to know how much people have paid for cards if it's the last one you need. Because I won't give away what they are because I don't want to miss out on the chance of them. But I'm watching something on eBay at the minute which would nearly complete quite a difficult set of cards for me.
Yeah.
But the price they're on at eBay would mean I'd be paying more for the cards than I paid for the figures, and I'm just a bit almost can't justify that.
Yes, that'd be good. Hear their prices. Hear their what was it you said? Their mistake cards, if there's any.
Yeah.
And let us know your favourite. Yeah, let us know your favourite cards as well. Say what you like about cards, what you don't like about cards. If you think they're a waste of time, if you thought it brought something to the figures, or if you just think, like you say, they should have just discarded them and not even bothered. If you like the ones like Sam said, he doesn't like the ones with the numbers on the bottom. If you like them, let us know. Just let us know. Tell us and get involved, and we'll talk about it the following week.
And is there anyone out there that's got a collection of cards where they've rated them? I'd love to know if there's someone out there that's got all the backs filled out.
All of them.
Oh wow! Yeah.
There's someone that filled them out and they've kept. It'd be cool to know what they rated their favourite players of the time and whatnot.
And then we can rate their ratings.
Yeah, we should come up with our own cards where we actually rate it not on playable stats, but we talk about likeness, pose, kit.
We're doing that, right?
Yeah.
Keep that idea. We'll do that. I'll generate one with the cards I create, and we'll do that.
Yeah.
Right, but yeah, I've collecting cards. I think that's pretty much covered that topic. It's a good one to talk about because, like I say, they are. It's strange how they are more popular now we've got older. I know more people are getting them. More people are saying, "Oh, have you got that figure?" Only if it comes with the card, though. So, like, it's definitely got a more popular thing.
Definitely.
So, something else we'd like to talk about, and me and Gary chatted about last week. Is there anything in the Corinthian world, but also you can go a little bit further from the Corinthian world, that you boys have got through the post in the last couple of weeks that you'd like to show off? Either of you can go first.
I'll jump up here. So I got I saw it on Vinted and I thought, I've never had one for England, so I thought I'd get one of the 4-pack with the stands. I've got the stands separately, and I've got these figures gone about 4 times over now. But there's something, I quite like it.
Oh well, hold that to the side. Hold that to the side a minute. That is thicker than I thought it was. That's a box.
Yeah, it is. It is quite thick actually. And I've got a United one, courtesy of the Corinthian selling legend that is, of course, Dave Rule a little while ago. And it's nice to have that. I'm not fussed about the Liverpool one in terms of having one of each. It was just, I thought, well, I saw the England one and I'll get it. But I don't ever remember this when I was younger, and that's the
Okay.
thing. I remember the individual ones.
Yeah.
I don't remember the 4-pack ones like this. So
I've got a 4-pack one somewhere, but I've got the 4-pack, which is the large blister with all 4 of them on, and it's almost like a large blister basically, rather than an actual
Yes.
box.
the classic, one of my favourite ones, although it wasn't in the post recently, is the Inter
Nice.
4-pack.
Yeah,
that I've had
nice.
for years. But yeah, that was always a classic one. I remember seeing that in the shops. They were always a tenner, weren't they?
Yeah.
So it was always a reasonable value. That was, I thought.
Mate, that one there is nice condition you got there, the Inter Milan one.
Yeah, I've had it for years, and I've managed to keep it in reasonable nick, really. So,
Yeah.
and I got a lovely Jose Dominguez in the post as well,
Ooh.
in the Portugal blister. It will come out eventually, but it's such a good likeness of him that I had to get it. So,
Yeah. Have you got anything, Sam?
I haven't actually brought much recently, but I suppose it's just something that Dan can appreciate because he kind of inspired me to actually go off and make the purchase because he got them a little bit before me, and then he brought them along to convention. But thanks to another, Dan's just mentioned Dave Rule, but we also know Frank well, and I've recently picked up.
Great.
Juice. Yeah.
oh wow.
So,
Just in case anyone's listening, quickly describe what that was.
well, I'm just grabbing the other one as well. So I've got Series 1 and Series 2 CDU. So these were obviously
Wow.
the boxes that would have been on your countertops of off license or news agents
We
or
will
whatever.
do an episode on CDUs because I like them. We can talk about the different. I know Dan's a sachet man. He's got loads of sachets.
Yeah. Well, we've got an idea for the future, haven't we? So
We have got an idea for the future. We are forward thinking here. We don't just plan today. We plan tomorrow.
absolutely.
It almost sounds like we know what we did, mate. We're winging it. We're going to wing it every week. Eventually, we'll get the hang of this, and we'll have some brilliant ideas. But we'll just trial things. But yeah, CDUs, mate. They are. I've not got any yet, but I keep seeing you guys. I think Andrew Smith has always been a big collector of them. I saw someone put some up the other day of Soccer Stars, and even they, I thought, they're quite cool. Just to get the stuff that you get in the shops in your home is quite a nice touch.
It's just that hit of nostalgia, which a lot of
Yes.
our collection is, and it's that element of I can picture 7, 8-year-old me standing at a shop, rustling around the sachets, trying to make sure it basically wasn't the same figure I got the week before. And the idea of, like you say, something in
The only
mint
problem with
condition.
nostalgia is how far do we go? Because
yeah.
a lot brought me joy back then, and my room, if I scanned my camera out now, my room's full up. I've got no more room for nostalgia,
Yeah.
but I keep seeing things because, I mean, you two are just talk about what you've got. I am heavily going down the Italia 90 route.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm a little bit older than you guys, so you were all into your. Probably 96 was the first major tournament you remember. Euro 96 probably, wasn't it?
I remember a
1990,
little bit of
1990.
USA 94.
Dear. But
Yeah, I remember 90.
Italia 90, I've been there. So I must have been about 11, 12 years old. And I just sat there and watched, in my eyes, one of the greatest tournaments ever. And it just made me realise why I love football. So, after seeing Gary's collection over the months where he's got his Euro 96 one, he's got all these different pieces. I've just started going down different routes. And at the convention, we had Sabitio, and I was looking at some of the Sabitio stuff. And we might do an episode on Sabitio, so I won't go into it too much. But I saw some Italian 90 stuff, so I thought, right, let's get some of that. So my 2 purchases this week are West Germany. It says Germany,
Oh, wow.
but it's West Germany because you can tell from the kit.
Beautiful.
Sabitio set.
Looks in
All
good
of
nick.
them, mate. That box.
Yeah.
I'm just right. The one I bidded on had a tear in. Mate, he's either somehow fixed the tear or sent me the wrong one that's completely perfect. So I was like, right, I'm keeping that.
Well, I do
And then-
wonder, because I wouldn't be surprised if that label should say West Germany, because they weren't they, at the time? So maybe.
They were
Yeah.
West Germany, but all the ones
Yeah.
I've seen say Germany, so who knows? But
Who
when I got this one, and there's a story behind this one. So I bought 2, and this is the England kit. You can just see the red on the shorts.
86?
Yeah, great, that is.
Italian like. This one is a little bit more battered, so I'm going to try and fix it. But this gentleman had 2 for sale. He had this one and the 92 kit. And then he said, when he was packing them up, he goes, I can't find the 92, so I'll send you that one for free. And I was like, I only wanted this one anyway. So I was like, you don't have to send it for free. He's like, I've done it now. I was like, fine. So I've just got this one for free.
Yeah.
But these are going to start my Italian 90 collection. display.
Nice.
I've just got to work out where in this room it's going to go and what else I'm going to get.
Do you know what, mate? Subbuteo is a beast, isn't it, from a collecting point of view?
Yeah, I wanted to get the set, but most of the sets, there's an Italian 90s set, and I think it's about 50 quid at the moment. And the thing is, because I don't know much about it, I don't know if that's good, I don't know if that's like high, low, whatever. So I'm just taking my time and mulling it over, because them two popped up for 6 quid and then the other one was free. I just thought I've got to take them.
I'll tell you what you might like. I brought a few years ago thinking I'd displayed them with my Corinthians, and I never have. I've got them in a box upstairs somewhere. But there was a guy on eBay that paints Subbuteo balls with better detail. And I've got like a proper Adidas Italian 90, Euro 96, those sort of balls. So for your Italian 90 collection, I'll make it a mission to get you one of them Italian 90 balls.
Gets me, because I'm going to buy a replica one, like a full size 5, because you can get them for about 15 to 20 quid, because the originals are about 200 quid now. Yeah. So I'm going to get a replica one just to put on display on a nice little plastic plinth, let's say, somewhere. But I did see the Italian 90 Subbuteo balls, but they're not what you're talking about, the Adidas ones. They just say Italian 90 with a little green and red font on. And I'm still going to get some, because they look smart, because that's what I played with when I was playing Subbuteo back in the day.
Do you know, speaking of valuable footballs, do you remember, it was probably an anniversary of Italian 90, so it was probably like 2010 when like England were going to a World Cup. They did a documentary on Italian 90, and they interviewed the kid that got Chris Waddle's penalty ball.
Oh, right.
Basically,
he skied
the story effectively goes that he skies it over the crossbar.
Yeah.
All the England fans obviously get this, start dispersing, or whatever, stay behind. The Germany fans are celebrating. The players all congregate, and this ball just sailed into the ground. And apparently, this lad's dad went, "She'll get the ball," and he had this ball 30 years later. Yeah.
Mate, that ball has got to be worth something, because, like I say, originals that were just brought out at that time were going for 200 quid. Yeah. So the one that was actually used in a game where England, like I say, just got knocked out, that would be worth thousands. Yeah, I'd love to have that one, but we'll have to see. But that's where I'm going down now with mine. So I'll show more bits as I get them each week. But something else I'm getting into, as I discussed a minute ago, is shirts. So I always ask anyone that comes on to wear a shirt. Hopefully it's either got a little story behind it, or it links into why you collect Corinthians, like sort of the range you collect. I'll quickly describe mine, because this was just an 8 quid purchase. I think it's the 2020-21 50th anniversary Ajax one. And I wasn't going to go down the Ajax route or anything like that. But I like black kits, because I feel you can wear black kits out and about with almost anything. It's not too loud and leery and that lot. I saw this one, 8 quid, clearly going to be a fake, but I thought I don't care, because if I ruin it, it's fine. So this is this week's kit. I have got another one on order, which is a legitimate one, so I'll be trying to wear that one, because do you know what, if I'm going to do, like, at the minute, I can do 10 episodes and I might run out of shirts. So I need to get purchasing some more. I've got some good original Man U ones. But shirts wise, I can see there's 2 glorious ones on you gentlemen. So Dan, what is that shirt you have on?
This is Spurs' this season Total 90 sort of tribute's the wrong word, but Total 90 throwback, the 3rd kit. As soon as I saw the rumours that it was coming out, I just couldn't wait, because I think Sam and I were saying before, Total 90 for me is where Nike peaked in terms of their kits, and ever since then there have been 1 or 2 good ones for Spurs. 1 or 2 sort of bit leery ones, bit unusual ones, but very much template the same. But Total 90 just broke all rules, really. Having the international kit with a circle around the number. Why? What was the reason for it? And no one cared, because it looked brilliant. And it was just, that whole range was just magnificent. So even though we weren't Nike at the time, when I saw this was being released, I don't often buy the shirts anymore, but this was a no-brainer. Got the Total 90 numbering on the back and lettering, because I don't think they'll ever do it again. So I was well chuffed. A lot of money lighter, which is annoying, but
how much are they nowadays? 80 quid, is it? 70 quid?
It all set me back 101 for the printing and everything.
I've got the name on the back.
Yeah, with the name on the back and the badges and everything. Nice. But you know what? it's a one-off,
Mate,
so you can't put money.
if,
You
it,
can't
if
put
it's
price
for
on
you,
that.
and if it's you and it's something you want, don't worry about it. You're saying it's a remake. A lot of these clubs, even though they're a Nike kit or an Adidas kit, they are bringing out a style of an old Adidas or an old Nike, and they're doing it really well now.
Yeah.
Just think about it. There's a culture of people around our age group that are nostalgic about old stuff, and companies are tapping into it. We're all reminiscing about 80s, 90s, early
Yeah.
noughties, whatever. So it's
It's a
an
win-win.
easy
Like,
target
they know what they're
marketing
doing.
thing.
But I mean, I can just see your little badge there, Lotto. So tell us about your kit and what you got on.
Yeah, I'm not a shirt collector at all. So this is, I don't know, what's it, about 94 Milan. A friend got it for me for my 30th. And this is probably only the second time I've ever worn it because I'm not a big shirts person. Eventually, I was going to put it in a frame and get it up on the wall. But the only other time I wore it, well, basically when I went to my wardrobe and have a choice of about 5 shirts, I thought Chelsea's Graphite and Tangerine Away is a classic, but I wore it at the convention. I've got a couple of retro England ones, but you covered England last time, so this had to be the obvious choice. And it was just quite a cool throwback. I had some good memories. The only other time I wore it was on a stag do in Milan for one of my best mates. Posted something in the group because I snuck a Andrei Shevchenko Milan figure in with me and took a photo of him in the stadium.
Nice.
And walking to the ground, I'm gutted I didn't take a different figure because walking to the ground, I met Marcel Desailly.
Oh, did you?
So I wish I had a Desailly figure on my at the time because that would have been class. But
That would've been
yeah, over the years, met a few players and gone to things for sign-ins and other stuff. But I'd probably say that's about the only time I've ever been absolutely like starstruck because it was just, it was class,
He was a
absolutely
legend.
class.
When did you see him? Because would that have been around when they were winning the World Cups and at their peak?
When did I see Desailly?
Yeah.
That was like 2 years ago on a stag do.
2 years ago. Right, cool.
He would have been there for like French TV. He was commentating or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were just crossing the road. We basically walked from our hotel all the way to the San Siro with a few beer stops along the way. It wasn't that far, but that's how we planned out the day. And we were just crossing the road, and suddenly it was like, oh my god, that's Marcel Desailly,
Mate,
and it was
that's
just
amazing.
like I was
He's such a star, mate. What a player!
yeah.
Great figure with a massive head. I think I said
Really?
to Gary, I had to shave out a little bit of my old display to fit people like him in because their heads were so big.
I did the embarrassing little jog up to him and didn't beg because he was accommodating, but asked for a photo and whatever. But yeah, honestly, it was like. It was class, so good. So yeah, that was this shirt of choice. I love
Nice shirt. Well, I didn't
Milan.
ask Dan then. So the reason you got Spurs on then is that because you're a Spurs fan, just so that people can know.
Yes, my sins. I am a Spurs fan. Although we've started off very well, so we're looking up. But yes, I am a Spurs fan. Yeah,
Mate, this is a year. I mean, you won a trophy last year, so who knows? You could go on to bigger and better things. Like, you're still going to do better than us, as in Man United, because. I don't want to talk about it. Let's just skate over that. Anyway, let's wrap it up by going to Sam. You've talked about car. Dan, you can do this week the Start Sign Scout sale. Now,
Okay.
for those of you that watched last week, or even didn't watch last week, Gary was our first guinea pig with it, and we were asking him to basically start. Is picking a figure, your favourite figure in your collection, one that would be the starting figure on your team sheet if you had to pick a list of figures. You had a sign, which would be a figure in your collection that you just think everyone needs to own. Everyone should go out and get one because it's a classic figure to have. Doesn't have to be super rare, could be common as muck, whatever, but just a figure that everyone should have. Scout was going to be a figure that you were always wishing and on the lookout for, hoping it was going to get brought out, but it never happened. And then Sell finally was a figure that you just think, what was the point? Sell it, get rid of it, don't want to see it again. So with those 4 categories, Dan, start with start. Who would the figure you would pick for your start?
Paul Ince, but that's nostalgia because it was my first ever figure. But I think it's a great likeness. Sort of, it really shows him as the marauding midfielder that he was. So for me, I always love a Paul Ince. I'm very, very partial to a Paul Ince figure.
Yeah,
That sounded wrong, but that's not what I meant. But yeah, it's a great,
is that
a great figure.
Is that
A
Paul
great
Ince?
figure.
Is that Paul Ince figure your favourite one of Paul Ince?
Yeah, the later ones of Paul Ince, I know some people like them, but I just didn't really feel they captured him very well.
Yeah.
This was perfect, an absolute perfect. And on a complete side note, Paul Ince did a cameo for my dad's 65th, and it was quite a lovely one, actually.
Did he?
Yeah, he did a cameo. I got him to do a cameo, and it was actually quite a nice little personal one. So, yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there, which had nothing to do with Corinthian, but yeah, nice one, actually.
Mate, yeah. But again, the start figure can be anything for anyone. Because what we want them to basically people just to tell us about their collection, not just to go along with what everybody thinks. Oh yeah, let's pick the regular ones like your Ronaldos or whatever. I mean, you can pick a Ronaldo if you like a Ronaldo.
Yeah.
But an Ince, mate, that's a brilliant choice. And I think Gary last week picked an Owen from the convention as his favourite one. Again, for the nostalgic reason. Going along with his dad to the first convention, it's just that figure is his favourite figure that he would always show off to people if he was talking about getting into the collection. Absolutely. So yeah, good choice. A sign then. What figure do you believe everybody needs to go and get for their collection?
So it's a slight. Just bear with me.
He's changed his mind.
Bear with me. Okay, these are obviously harder to get now,
Right.
but if anyone can get hold of an England or a Premier League one, get one, because that's where it all started. So England it starts, Premier League followed afterwards.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance to get your hands on one, get one. Don't open it, keep it shut. Or if you collecting and you're starting to collect, have the joy that we all had. Rip it open, the smell and everything is fantastic. So although it's not, I don't know what figures are in here, theoretically, if you ever get the chance to get a sachet, just get one, because it just is such a... It's holding them now. I'm still going back to me being an 11-year-old, holding them and getting them from the shop. So that's my slight curveball,
Mate,
but that's what I go for.
I like that. I like that's a good choice. And if people are just listening along, got it on in the background, Dan was holding up a sealed sachet, one of the original sealed sachets, and they are immaculate and they are amazing. Like you say, it's where the first time when you're a young lad going into a shop, dipping your hand in that box and just picking one out and hoping for the specific figure you're after. That is where it all started. Can you remember, before we go on to the next one, was it Adam Grocott that opened one and sniffed it? And did he do it live or did he do it in our little admin chat? I just remember someone did it and they were like, oh, and they smelled the plastic. And I'm sure it was Grocott.
Sounds like something Grocott would do, but I'm ashamed to admit that I've done that as well. So I'm not going to knock him for it. But yeah, it does sound like something Grocott would do, isn't it?
That's what we should do. Yeah. Corinthian perfume or eau de toilette or whatever, and we can literally get that smell in a bottle. I want to go out smelling like a sachet.
Yeah. Good shout, yeah.
Right, and then next we're going to go on to Scout. So a figure that you are always on the lookout for, hoping that the next series they're going to be bringing it out.
Yeah. Stefan Freund was a cult figure at Spurs, and when I was a season ticket holder for a couple of years, we all loved him because he just gave it his all. And great figure in the Dortmund kit, never ever released in Spurs, but also notable mentions are Dominguez, released in Portugal but never a Spurs kit, and again another cult figure. And Mauricio Taricco was a massive cult figure at Spurs and they never released him, and I would love to have owned a Taricco with his hair and everything. It would have been brilliant. Obviously, Gary would hate him because he's Ipswich, but a former Ipswich player. But
why is that?
Yeah, I just can't understand why. But yeah, Stefan Freund for me was one that I felt was scandalously left out for Spurs.
Yeah, so you'd like Stefan Freund to be in a Spurs kit. And then, last but not least, the one that you want to sell, the one you want to move on, the one you want to discard and never see again.
Love Sheringham, but hate the pose. So if I'm honest with you, it's any figure that I absolutely detest this pose. It's the stupidest pose they could have made. Don't get it. Don't understand what it's for. Don't even know what he's doing. I've got no idea what he's doing in that pose there. Is he crouching down? Is he having a seat? It's utterly ridiculous. So it's not so much Sheringham. It's like Pallister, who's about 7 foot tall, is given this pose.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. And I remember seeing one of your, I'm sure it was your custom, where you gave him a bigger, which it should have been, like Ferdinand as well for Newcastle. So, yeah, these would go in the bin 100% because I hated this pose and still do with an absolute passion.
We'll do one on we'll do one on poses one day because, like you say, there are some awful poses. When I didn't know because I used to, I watched Razor Roddick when he was playing, like, say, for Liverpool and things like that, but I didn't really pay much attention because I was quite a young lad. And when you see the Corinthians, in my head I kept thinking, oh, he's not that tall a bloke because he's on that stupid, stocky pose. But he's actually about 6'3" in real life. He's a big old unit. So why did they put him on such a small figure?
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
For fellas like us of a certain age, I actually think that there's players out there that you almost put your opinion on based on their Corinthian.
Yeah.
Like, I have this irrational hatred for Yuri Zhorkaev just because I cannot stand the figure. You know what I mean? Like, I've got no reason to not like the bloke. He played for Bolton, didn't he? He's won the World Cup with France.
Did he also have long sleeves or not?
The long sleeve, I just think it's a terrible figure. And I suppose really of my age, my first memory of Yuri Zhorkaev is a Corinthian figure as opposed to him as a player.
Yeah.
And I just have this irrational dislike for him. Yeah.
Bjornaby in Liverpool was a dreadful figure. The Bjornaby one, and then they made the Norway one look a bit more handsome, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which was probably a bit, terrible.
Mate, we could literally say we're just coming up with topics here that we can talk about because there's so much stuff that, like you say, that we know a little bit about, and the community talk about it a little bit. We could talk about it in depth level, but we have gone well into Fergie time. Crikey, we are literally like Liverpool. We're going to play until we score and win at the moment in Fergie time. Sorry for any Liverpool fans listening out there. But I think we have scored and won tonight. It's been another good episode. We are hoping you guys enjoy it. We're going to be bringing stuff like this out. Try and get one done a month. Try and get two done a month. It's all down. It depends on when we get time. We're going to try and bring you some cool topics that don't normally get talked about. And if any of you want to get involved, like as Sam said earlier, if you've got any things you want to talk about with cards, show us off your cards. Show off your mistake ones. Anything like that, throw them at us, and we'll bring it up next week. If any of you want to ask a question for the 12th man bag, because I know Gary's desperate to do something. He wants to do a special video for it, he told me. So let's get some questions in so we can at least do the 12th man bag with Gary when Gary comes back. Hope you're doing well, Gary, 'cause I think his wife wasn't well tonight. He's looking after her with man flu. It was a terrible case of man flu. So, so get them questions into us. We'll answer them. And we'll get some of you on as well. If any of you want to come on and you can join us, we'll do a special guest episode. And the reason I say at the beginning it's about Corinthians and more is I think we can all say, I bet all of us don't just collect Corinthians. People that collect all sorts of stuff. So, but I bet you a lot of it as well links back to a little bit of Corinthians. Like some of the shirts guys I'm getting to know have got a very small selection of Corinthians, but they've still got some. So if you want to come on and you want to talk about Subbuteo, you want to talk about Panini stickers, you want to talk about shirts, we'll also have like special episodes when we can talk about them things. Because let's face it, it was all perfect and brilliant in the 90s and the noughties. It's all around the same era, so it's all around the same thing, and we're all going to take something from all those sorts of episodes. So, hope you've enjoyed it tonight, and thanks to Dan and Sam for coming on, and you will see more of us. We'll come up with some more topics in the future, and I'll leave it to who can say goodbye today. Dan, say goodbye to everyone for us rather than me doing it today.
See you later, everyone. Happy collecting.
Cheers then, guys.
Cheers, fellas.